Same-sex adoption is a contentious topic that elicits strong opinions from various quarters of society. On one side of the debate, proponents argue that sexual orientation should not be a barrier to parenthood, emphasizing the importance of providing loving and stable of those or safe tax gifts. These gifts are worthings out of a combination of their bold arrays, and sometimes this perspective highlights the principles of equality, inclusivity, and the right to form a family regardless of sexual orientation. Opponents of same-sex adoption, on the other hand, often base their arguments on religious and traditional beliefs. They contend that children deserve to be raised by a mother and a father, as they believe this to be the ideal family structure. They express concerns about the potential psychological and emotional effects on children who are raised in same-sex households, asserting that they might face difficulties in understanding gender roles and forming their own identities as a result. This viewpoint places an emphasis on preserving traditional family values and maintaining the perceived societal norms. Over the years, extensive research has been conducted to ascertain the impact of same-sex adoption on the well-being of children. According to various studies, there is no discernible difference in the outcomes of children raised by same-sex couples compared to those raised by heterosexual couples. These findings challenge the notion that a child's development and happiness are solely dependent on the sexual orientation of their parents. Researchers argue that what truly matters is the quality of the parenting provided, the stability of the family environment, and the love and support received. Nevertheless, opponents of same-sex adoption remain concerned about the potential societal consequences. They argue that expanding adoption rights to include same-sex couples could undermine the traditional concept of family and lead to the erosion of religious cultural values. Some fear that acceptance of same-sex adoption could pave the way for broader changes in societal norms, potentially affecting marriage regulations and family structures. These concerns are rooted in the belief that society should uphold traditional definitions of family, with a mother and a father as the primary caregivers. However, proponents of same-sex adoption argue that society evolves and adapts over time, redefining what it means to be a family. They emphasize the importance of inclusivity and diversity in shaping modern societies, and advocate for the recognition of various family structures. They contend that the well-being of children should be the primary focus, rather than adherence to traditional norms. They argue that children raised by loving same-sex couples can grow up to be well-adjusted individuals, capable of contributing positively to society. Additionally, they assert that same-sex adoption can help provide stable and loving homes to the many children awaiting adoption. The legal aspects surrounding same-sex adoption vary across different countries and jurisdictions. In some places, same-sex couples enjoy the same adoption rights as heterosexual couples, while in others, the path to adoption can be more challenging. Proponents argue for equal access to adoption for same-sex couples, claiming that denying them this right constitutes discrimination based on sexual orientation. They advocate for legal reforms that prioritize the best interests of the child and ensure that loving and capable individuals, regardless of their sexual orientation, have the opportunity to provide a stable home for children in need. Opponents of same-sex adoption often rely on legal arguments rooted in religious freedoms and the sanctity of marriage. They maintain that adoption should be restricted to heterosexual couples to maintain the traditional family structure ordained by religious teachings. They raise concerns about potential conflicts between the rights of same-sex couples and the religious beliefs of adoption agencies and individuals. Some argue that religious organizations should have the right to refuse placing children in same-sex households based on their moral and religious convictions. As with any controversial issue, the question of same-sex adoption sparks debates that highlight differing perspectives, values, and beliefs. Both sides present compelling arguments and concerns, often rooted in deeply held convictions. It is important to approach discussions on this topic with empathy and respect for all viewpoints, recognizing the significance of promoting the well-being of children while considering the broader societal implications.